Yay! Oh my gosh, another episode. Aren't the trees behind me so beautiful? You guys, it's such a gorgeous California day, and I am stoked to be releasing today's episode. I have been calling in more masculine presence and just sharing the masculine lens of what it means to be human, what it means to be doing life in this world, what it means to just see the world from a guy's perspective versus the female perspective, because of course we're naturally very, very different creatures. We think differently. I remember reading a book called The Male Brain and the Female Brain, and just on like a neurochemical prognosis, I guess. Those are really big, silly words to be using, but essentially, like, our brains are very different. We're wired differently. We see the world differently, and at the same time, we meet in this beautiful energetic exchange. And I had such an amazing conversation and opportunity to interview such a beautiful masculine energy with Shaz, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear his take on the world and bring it down to simplicity. And I really, really loved it. Took so much away from this conversation and can't wait for you guys to meet this beautiful human.
Let each one of you pick out the car of your choice. Sounds good, doesn't it? Pick it out, any color, you name it. It'll be tied up with a bow, and it'll be at your house tomorrow. And you say, well, what's the catch? And the catch is that it's the only car you're going to get in your lifetime. Now, what are you going to do knowing that that's the only car you're ever going to have and you love that car? You're going to take care of it like you cannot believe. Now, what I'd like to suggest is you're not going to get only one car in your lifetime, but you're going to get one body and one mind, and that's all you're going to get. And that body and mind feels terrific now, but it has to last you a lifetime.
Hi, Shaz. How are you doing today?
Hey, Shay. I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy that it's almost the weekend.
Yeah. Well, it is. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
1 o'clock. Only a couple hours.
Last day of the week. But
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. I figured that we would just start with a brief introduction for everybody watching, let them get to know you, any fun facts you'd like to share, and where you're located.
All right. Well, my name is Shaz Khan. I am located in Toronto, Ontario. I am a personal trainer slash health coach, life coach. I'm kidding. I'm just a personal trainer. Just a personal trainer. Yeah. So I started personal training. I think I was probably 18. I would always train my friends even in high school. I kind of knew I was going to go into fitness because I would skip school and just be in the gym all the time. I like training friends, and kind of I had that. It was kind of my like my escape from a lot of like my my childhood stuff and whatever. We won't get into that, but like it was just always like my space where I would go. So it's always been something that that has been close to me. So yeah, and I had a job at a retail store and like other jobs and stuff, but I was never really good at them. Wouldn't do well, got fired from both of them. And eventually it was like, I would love to say that like, oh yeah, I worked hard. I knew this is what I wanted and whatever, but it really wasn't. It was just, I had no choice, right? I had to do something. But in this industry, like when I worked in this, I would just be there. I would love doing it. I would work in the beginning. I would work Monday to Sunday every day. And, in the beginning, obviously it was tough, right?
Yeah.
But it got now it's slowly getting better. So it's been only 10 years, but getting better. But I still love what I do. So yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about what you do?
It's just connecting with. I used to do group classes, but I really turn towards more one-on-one training with my clients because it's just that interaction like we're doing now. I love that part. I love hearing clients' stories and like, we talk about everything, right? So not just fitness, nutrition, everything. Like I've been called a therapist for my clients because it's just, you hear them out and it's not like I do it just because, it's part of my job. I just love being in touch with people. So it was always that I started to appreciate more now, and I'm just I'm getting better at it because it's more, as you know, health is a lot more than just lifting weights. It's so much more, right? It's the nutrition, it's the way you think, the way you eat, everything just plays such a huge role. So now I have, through my experience, obviously in the 10 years, now I have that perspective, and I can kind of pass it on to clients too, because I understand it's just not like, oh, eat well and like work out, everything will be all right. It's everything else that you have to look at. So now with clients, it's changed so much. Before it was just like, here's a nutrition plan, here's a workout plan, I'll see you at this time. It's not that anymore. Now I'm in touch with them all the time. Like they'll call me night and day, like if they have questions, and like not necessarily just fitness related. It could be like in the morning I was talking about someone like like a job offer. He's like, should I take it? And this and that, right? So it's all, and again, we had to look at, okay, is this going to be something that's going to put more stress into your life? And is this something that you're looking for? Is money really that valuable to you that you're willing to sacrifice your health? So it's like, you kind of see how health is just related in everything, right?
Yeah.
So I've definitely come to appreciate. Before it was definitely just lifting weights for me, but now it's so much more. And it's great to see, because when I was first doing it, it wasn't as big. Now it's like everyone like appreciates it for mental health, for everything. It's not just something that like is a chore for them anymore, right? Most people. But yeah. So that would be my favorite thing, just connecting with people. It's a different story and different stuff every day. So it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think connection is at the root of what all of us crave, especially when it comes
100%.
to just like lifestyle. And I love that you're approaching it more as a little bit of everything, and it's not just, for the aesthetics, which some people go into.
100%.
Working out.
100%.
Understandable too. Like we want to look good, but there's so much more than that. And
that's just the icing though, right? It's like, what's the point of looking good if you're inside,
if you don't feel good
out
inside?
of whack?
Exactly.
Because like, and that's something so like inside you don't see, right? If your hands move in the physical, something's wrong. But what is happening inside you don't see in a lot of people, right? They're just kind of fighting it on their own. So you kind of have to just reach out and like connect with people, and just kind of, obviously it takes time for my clients to open up and like start talking about things. But once they do, it's amazing, because, I can kind of touch on like what they're feeling, and like if I've had that struggle, because we all have our own, right? And how we deal with it, it's kind of different, but it's just good to connect. It's just a lot of times they just want to be heard, right? That's all it is. They just want to be heard. Right? The frustrations, maybe they can't yell at the people at work, so they'll yell at me, so it's fine. So
you give them a space to be seen and heard, and I think like all humans want that for sure.
Yeah, aesthetics is always something I put last. And if somebody comes to me that, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds in a month for a wedding, I'm like, thank you, I can't. Like, I just don't want to. I can sell you a contract, I can sell you a package, but I know I'm setting you up for disappointment. There's so much to fitness that I want you to look at rather than the aesthetics. And again, I used to be that trainer, so I can sit here and like brag, but like I used to be that trainer that would just sell, the keywords like men's health, and every magazine does, right? It's like lose 10 to 12 pounds in 12 weeks and this and that. So I used to be that trainer, and like, it's just, you get clients and then go away. But now it's like, I'm at a point, like I have set clients that I, because it's a bigger goal, I feel, and it's a lifestyle. So.
For sure. Yeah. And I feel like that's more rewarding and fulfilling almost.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Way more.
Yeah. And I love that you touched upon just like, like being able to give people like a place to express themselves. I think like, especially now, we've all been dealing with some dense, heavy emotions, like on a collective level, on an individual level. And I think learning to hold our emotions as humans can be very scary and difficult.
It is, 100%.
In your experience, like your own lens and how you guide your clients and even maybe hold yourself, what like piece of advice would you give to everyone out there watching on starting to cultivate a healthy relationship with their emotions?
For me, what's worked best, and that's all the same thing to clients, aside from working out, because that's just for that, you feel good, you've got the endorphins, everything, but it'll make you feel good. And again, it plays a huge part. But aside from that, it's the stillness, right? Meditation. It's drastically changed my life. It just brought consciousness into everything. Just sitting still. Like I could have any kind of day where again, seeing so many people, I collect a lot of emotions. So sometimes there's days I meditate like 5 times, like short meditations, but I need to sit still just so I can kind of gather myself, because I collect a lot of stuff, right? So it's people wonder like why I meditate so much. It's not like I'm like, I love meditation, but it's like I need to do it in order to kind of like, clear myself too. But that's one thing I've found, like in the beginning, like I just got into meditation, I would say like it's been 3 years or 2 years now. But when in the beginning, I could not sit still. I would just be like, all right, when is it going to be over? Now I'm just sitting and I can just sit, right? I'm just like, I don't, I guess there's no urgency. In stillness, I would say, is definitely what a lot of people need. And I always tell clients, like, aside from the training, to always add in meditation just in the starting of the day, because our habit, including myself, I was at this point, because I would get up, and this is before the pandemic. I was like I would get up, grab your phone, right? What's going on? So now I get up and I roll, sit down, meditate. I do 2 different meditations, and then I work out. So it's just my time, your time to yourself. And I think that is something we definitely need, is more consciousness, more awareness, and meditation in our life, right? That's definitely helped a lot for me, for sure.
Yeah, meditation at the beginning for me was also just like I wanted to throw something at the wall. Like I cannot sit with them.
Which is the opposite of meditation.
Yeah, like I cannot be here with my own thoughts. It was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, but... and that's what it is, right? We can't be, but like if we sit and we just, and it's not even like you're battling yourself, you're negotiating with yourself, you're talking to yourself, you're trying to fix the problem. If you keep trying to ignore it, then it's just, as you said, it's just collected emotion. You can keep putting it under the rug, but eventually it's going to be there and it's going to explode, right? So, and that's very dangerous. And that's what happens to a lot of people. And it's happened to me even in my life. I've always loved what I do, but it's like when I didn't have, when I wasn't together inside, I would always have these like thoughts or like I'm like burnout and all that stuff. Now that stuff like really doesn't exist in my life, because it's just because I can sit still. I have my time on weekends. I'm just, a lot of times it's just for hours I'm meditating. I'll sit still, and then whatever way I'm feeling, I can just sit down for 20 minutes. I get up, it's a total different feeling. And that is one thing I find tough to get into for a lot of people. And I understand, because I've been there and you've been there. Yeah. So that stillness is definitely it's important. And I heard this yogi says, like, if you can't sit still and like enjoy your own company, then obviously you're in bad company, right? So you need to fix that, because how is anyone else going to enjoy your company when you're at that point, right? Like it just doesn't make sense. So that's definitely, I think, what a lot of people should bring into their life. And I brought a lot into, especially when the pandemic started, and like nobody had any idea what the heck to do, right? Or what was going to happen or what was going to be next. So it helped me a lot, especially as an entrepreneur. It helps a lot.
Oh, 100%.
You never know. You never know what's next.
Yeah, it's like half of the running a business is just being able to handle your own shit. I swear.
100%. It's 100%. It gets lonely, right? And that was like the struggle, even with me. Like in the beginning, it gets lonely. You have no one to talk to. No one to like really like. Now we have this space, and like we have Instagram, and we can connect with other trainers. But the time I started, it really wasn't anything. Like, I mean, I never was on Facebook or any of that. So it was just me, just kind of sitting with myself all day. And it was a struggle, but also like it gets lonely because you don't have anyone you're talking to, like, to express the problems. Like, especially when I started, I remember it was like, I was just reminiscing the other day. It's like I used to have just 2 clients, and I would charge $20, and they were both in different cities, and one at 6 a.m., one at like 8 p.m. So my whole midday would just be me dealing with myself. It wasn't good, right? Yeah. It wasn't good. So it was a struggle, right? So, but I think if I had meditation at that time, I would have handled it better. Right?
Yeah. Thankful that like you always discover it, and I feel like we discover it exactly when we're ready to. Also,
exactly. That's why we can't even force anyone, right? It's just you can tell them, but you can't make them sit down and meditate.
Well, they're like,
if I could, I would.
100%. I forget how the quote goes. Like, you can't drag a horse to the water well or something like that. I don't know.
There's an Andrew Carnegie. I know there's an Andrew Carnegie one. I'm actually a quote machine, if my friends will tell you. There's Andrew Carnegie. You can't push a man up the ladder who's not willing to climb a little, right? So their effort is required. And same thing in our coaching with fitness training. Same thing. The client has to be willing to work. There can't be resistance. Right?
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like the thing that comes through having this conversation with you right now is that just like at the root of it, like we as humans also like lack connection to ourselves. And that's why it's like sometimes so hard to sit in meditation or look at our emotions, because like we're learning to re-love ourselves. And and a lot of it comes from, I know you mentioned it earlier, like childhood trauma or just stuff that happened when you were growing up, or even like in high school, or even maybe like 2 weeks ago. It just like gets trapped in the body.
Collective, right?
Yeah, exactly. And in your like journey of like being human so far, like how do you define that? Like how do you define being human in the modern day world?
I think being human in the modern day world is just being conscious. Just being conscious of your life, inhalation, exhalation, just that breath, and like an appreciation for it, gratefulness for it. If we can just have the consciousness of our life and the life around, I think we'll just be better humans in general, right? We won't harm anyone if we see everything as ourselves, right? And that's what yoga is, right? Yoga means union, right? So to see everything as yourself, to connect with the universe in a different way than just, talking, or it's just to see like with a plant, with anything that has life, like you can just sit still and have a connection. You'll naturally not harm anyone, or most importantly, you won't harm yourself, just to become conscious, right? So I think that's for me that's the most important thing that every human needs, because we're becoming so like I even did a post about this. We're becoming like, we're trying to adapt habits. And again, I've been there where I was a trainer. We're like, you guys need healthy habits. It's all about routine, this and that. But routine is for a machine. It's like a robot. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to be conscious of everything, every step you take, every breath you take, because once we realize, we're like, if we're conscious, we know this isn't forever. Yeah. Once we lose that, right? Once we lose the consciousness that this isn't forever, then we're like, all right, man, I got to make the most of this, right? There is no bad days, and there are no bad moments. Even if there are, they won't last as long if you could just become conscious. Again, back to meditation. Yeah. we're gonna keep going back to meditation.
Yeah, and the time is just, it's all a moment, and everything is always just moving through. I always hold that every time I think of that. And I love that you said like being human is bringing consciousness into the world. And I truly believe that the more conscious we become, the more aware we become, and just there's a different type of thriving that can happen both on a personal level and a collective level, and then our environment. But for you, like, what is bringing consciousness mean? Because I feel like anyone who's maybe like, oh, this sounds wonderful, but what does that even mean, you guys?
To bring consciousness is, I would say, again, awareness to every action, not in a way that you're like fearful, oh, this may happen, because that's different. That's I guess overconscious or fear. That's fear. What's gonna happen? What's conscious? I'm super conscious. So you're right. Some people may take it the wrong way, but I think consciousness means it's just to, where will this action lead me? And it doesn't have to be just generally anything related to health, or like every action that anything you say can harm someone, and can, if we're not conscious, we'll just say anything to anyone, and we won't realize what that will do to that person, right? How it may trigger them. So if we're just conscious of, how will this make us, I think the way I would describe it is, how would this make us feel, right? Mm-hmm. And would I do this to someone else? Would I say this to someone else? Or where would this lead? If, I guess questioning your intentions and everything. What is like an entrepreneur, it's like 80%. What is the worst that can happen? Garter on that 80%, right? Like still plan for that. So should I still do it? Is it worth the risk, or is it worth saying? So I think that's more, I would say it's what bringing consciousness is just being aware, because I find like a lot of people, even the sensitive people, do the most insensitive things because they're unconscious, because they're not aware of what they're doing. They don't even realize, oh my God, I didn't realize that would have that much of an impact on this person, or what I said, and right. So I think and again, these are, as you said, like it may sound like all great, but it takes time to like apply to your life. But hey, we have our whole lifetime. So like, as long as we're just working on it constantly, and as long as we're back to meditation. as long as we're just, aware as much as we can be, I think it's just you get better at it and you master it, and then you really take in life fully with awareness, right? You really, really take it in. You're just like every moment, like the smallest thing, like lately, like the smallest things are just like getting to me. I'm just like, all right, I'm just doing this because I can just always look back and like, man, remember, like I didn't have this, or like this was something I always wanted, like, and I just forgot. Now it's there. Like, why am I not grateful? Like, we're always longing for more, right? So if we're conscious, we'll be more grateful. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I feel like I described it in many ways, but all right.
No, I think it's like that is being human, right? Like the full self-expression. And I like that. I think it is always bringing back to gratitude. I think I find it almost as like this bridge of just like being where you are and like really being in that gratitude of where you are, like you said. And it's like we're always going to want more, but it's just like, are you wanting more for yourself to challenge yourself, or is it like, are you wanting more because the external validation of whatever it is you're going after too? So.
Unfortunately, it's the other one, right? Unfortunately, it is, and it's, again, I've been there, so I understand it. It's just, it is that, right? It's just we think these things will change us, but whatever goal you're climbing, whatever you get, anything materialistic, whatever goal you have on the outside, you can get it. But if you don't have peace within, it doesn't really matter because it's useless, right? It's just that has to be there. And like, even when you get those things, you realize, all right, this is great. And again, you'll be grateful, but you'll know that this isn't it, right? And then going back to what you said, it's just more so of the connection that you make to the world, that you realize that it's more important than anything else, right? Because that's all we leave behind, right? Any of the things, these are all his things, right? Like, I don't own anything, right? We leave it all behind, right? But how you remember it and how you touch another life, how your experience was of life is the only thing you have, right? And I think we kind of forget that, chasing things outside, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of the quote by, like, I think it's Maya Angelou. She's like, people won't always remember everything that you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And it's kind of like the same concept
100%.
as well. Yeah.
100%.
I feel like life always gives us, I call them like earthquake or slap in the face moments, so that you do become aware and that you can start to like bring your awareness into more consciousness. And I truly believe, like, when I created this show is because it's guiding people who are maybe in that slap in the face moment of life. So your journey and your experience and what you've learned being on the other side of what some people will maybe call a spiritual awakening, like, what piece of advice would you give to a person who's just like in it and like, I don't know what to do or how to begin, but I want to reach that piece that they've found?
Well, I think we all have some natural ability, or I don't know how to describe it, like, of who we are. Like, some people are compassionate, some people are love, some people are helping, or however you want to put it. But if you can find that, I think that, and then you kind of express it. Once you find that, then everything you do will be an expression of that, right? Like, some people are just generally very, like, compassionate, can be helpful, can be like someone's strength, and to other people, like, if you can find your thing, and it doesn't have to necessarily be work, but if you can just find your one thing that you really like, people see to or look to you as, and just kind of really become that, I think that is your path to, like, kind of enlightenment, I would say, because then that's the start of you being who you truly are. I don't know if I really expressed that well, but yeah. I think that's what it is, right? It's just because you don't want to turn against yourself. Because a lot of times we end up like just going with, like, okay, I'm going to become this, I'm going to become that. It's like, before you even decide, I think, your career or whatever, you have to find out who you naturally are. What is your expression, or what do people really see you as, right? And some people are just different, right? Everyone has a different ability. Like their presence has something else, right? So I think just once you find that, then everything that you do will find an expression within, right? So for me, yeah, I guess I've been more so, I don't know, like I've always, even like growing up, I've been that friend that people would just come to. So like even in fitness now, it's kind of like the same thing. Right? So it's just I've never been like, because of like my career again, being alone and myself, I've always been like I've had to like fix my own problems, and I've never really turned to like even my parents like growing up. So I've always been that, so like independent, I would say, but I've always been a great help when most, not help, but like some sort of guide, but like to people that I don't want to brag. Yeah, but I've been that, so I just started like, I'm like, how can I really execute that on my business and my career? How can I like really find an expression of that? And now it's, yeah, again, before it was just like, here's a copy and paste fitness routine, copy and paste diet, I'll see you Monday, and that was it. Now it's totally something else, right? And it's amazing. And now I love what I do more than ever. It gets to you sometimes. By like Friday, I'm done. I'm like, because I work Monday to Friday, and I try to just see the clients in it. And by Friday, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I need my own time. I have the weekend, meditate, all that. And Monday, I just go like, that's my favorite day. I just go in, and I'm just excited because I've just had that time to work on myself. And I think that's what a lot of people really need to do, is just like, and again, I'm sure you find this a lot too, is just people cannot, not even sit still. Like they just can't be with themselves, right? They're just like, I just say the worst things to myself. I'm like, yeah, well, come on, fix that, right? That is where you start. So sit down first, fix that, and then find out who you truly are. And again, it's just so simple. It's just, but it in a way, it's very complicated and as you said, it's like, until the time is right, or until it's their time, they won't even go towards that path. So I'm hoping everyone finds that.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm holding the vision that everyone finds their version of the path, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely painful and icky sometimes, but like once you get past it, it's just like a breath of fresh air, and like
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
at the top of the mountains where you're just like, wow, I did it.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's where it starts. That's where you make the world a better place. Because if you're not, whether you do or say something bad or not, you carry your energy. So you will go outside. You're going to take that outside. Whether you say harmful things to other people or not, how you manage your energy is very important, right? Because I find like I include myself in this, like our emotions are somewhere else, our body is somewhere else, our mind is somewhere else, and it's just, if they all align, and that's what really stillness will bring. If they all align, damn, you're a powerhouse. Like not everything goes your way, but even if things go apart, you're just like, all right, you're still together, right?
Yeah.
And that's what the pandemic really was for a lot of people. It just showed them. A lot of people found their way. Like a lot of people did. I'm sure you were finding too. A lot of people went into like meditation. A lot of people really like started working on themselves. I never meditated this hard. Before the pandemic. So it's definitely brought some. I don't know. It's definitely brought some. I don't know what I'm looking for.
More expansion, more growth.
Exactly. But yeah, more growth.
I feel that. Like, yeah, I was like, we've been on the path for a little while, but I think 2020 shook all of us, and
100%.
It was an opportunity. If you allowed yourself to look at your stuff, even if you've already looked at it, you got to go deeper and expand more. And yeah, some beauty does come from the ugly that was last year.
100%. Oh, this year.
Yeah,
we're still dealing with it here.
I'm trying to like.
Yeah, you're trying to see the light. All right.
Yeah, like it's better. It's looking up at least, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I love everything that you just said, and it feels and sounds like you've found truly like your purpose or your dharma, however people will phrase it. But I find that purpose and career always seem to be interlinked in our society. And I'm very curious to know, like for you, how do you define purpose and career? And do you feel that they're one and the same, or what's your perspective on that?
Like I was big on to dharma and purpose, but I see like, I don't see myself as that big. Like, I don't even want that much weight on me to have a purpose and like, what is my life? I just want to like just do my best. And because at the end of the day, the sun comes out every day, the stars shine every night. They're doing their thing without like sitting there talking about their purpose. They're just being human, I think, is everyone's purpose, right? I think being conscious and just being human, not harming anyone, just being human is everyone's purpose. Once we lose that, then it's all downhill. So I think it's not even, I think there are bigger things on earth than us. And we often, I feel we forget that, and we make ourselves, that's where really like our thoughts and like, that's why our thoughts and emotions really get to us, because we think we're a big deal. We can sit down and we think we're a big deal. Even if we're, you know, we can be humble and all that, but like if we think that the world revolves around us, then I think it's just more, it's just tougher for us, right? So I want to like, I see purpose as just something simple as you know, being human. Right. I think that's everyone's job, just to leave. You know, when you go camping, leave the place better than you found it. And I think that's really all our job, just our space. Anyone that some people have a broader reach, some people have, but again, we don't even know how much our reach can be, right? Like, so we just, as long as we just be conscious, be aware, I think that's everyone's purpose, not just, you know, not just mine. So for me, it's like, I've before it was definitely, my purpose is to change everyone's lives and all that. But then I'm like, I can't do that. That's tough. You know what I mean? Like some people, they're not, like, again, back to the pushing a man up the ladder who's not willing to climb a little. But, you know, doing your best, being human, I think is my purpose, and I think it should be everyone's purpose, just to be human, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of I don't know if you've read the book The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
I have not.
Oh my goodness, it's really good. It's super simple, like his four agreements, but one of them is just like, just always do the best you can. And as long as you're always doing the best you can, like one day it'll look really, really good. One day it might just be waking up and breathing. But as long as you're doing 100%. The best you can, then
that's what it is a lot. Because I find like a lot of people, what is my purpose? And like this, like it's just whatever. But we're making ourselves a bigger deal on this. And like if we're gone, like we really face it. Even if the Earth is gone tomorrow, no one will know, right? We're that small. We're that small of a speck. And now we want to talk about how, because it's just way too big for us to be, you know. But again, it is our, not even our purpose, but our duty to like to just be conscious and to be human. I think that's the best way I would describe purpose.
Yeah, I like that. Very simple.
It just takes the pressure off, you know. Like, oh, what is my purpose? Am
exactly. I just get to exist.
I want to enjoy life. Like every leisure I have, like, whoa, I'm not even doing anything towards my purpose. Why am I enjoying myself?
Yeah.
So
true. I really like that. Oh, thank you so much. I feel like you said so many awesome things that people are going to take away from that. And it really bridges me into kind of getting to know a little bit more of you and your practice in life. I last year really, I feel like dropped into ritual a lot. And I started to create more rituals out of the habits that I had because it just made it feel more intentional. And so what is like a favorite ritual of yours that you have?
A favorite ritual. I keep going back to the same thing. Stillness. Favorite. Yeah. Again, they're all like just me time is my favorite thing to do now more than ever. Before, same thing. It was always like, you know, it would be the weekend. All right, what's happening this weekend? Work is done. You know, like now it's like I appreciate just like this, like just being with myself. I could sit whatever I'm doing, working out or like whatever is like whatever is towards working on myself, I think would be my favorite ritual. But like my most favorite this year would be stillness. Yeah, it's become addicting. Like as you said, it's like it's tough in the beginning, but then later it's just like Yeah, like now I tell people sit for 15 minutes or do this, and it's 15 minutes. It's like crazy. But then I also, like, again, if you're understanding, you're like, yeah, I know what you mean. 15 minutes, like, come on, that is ridiculous. But like now it's like you can just sit and it's no problem, right? So I think that's probably my favorite ritual, stillness.
Yeah, I know.
Doing nothing.
Doing nothing, literally. Like I like when I can just go lay down in my bed and sit there.
yeah, exactly. And then it takes you to places like you'll never, like, again, like it's just if you know, sometimes it won't, but sometimes it just takes you places you're like, holy crap, this was awesome. I really needed that, right? And I think it's it's not even something that's like not only one human can do. It's like, it's not something like superhuman. Some people think like, oh, how can you just do it? It's like, I'm sure you find this too. Like a lot of people find, oh, how do you like sit still? Like, I don't. It's not something like superhuman. It's when you sit still, you find out that being human is super, right? And I think that's, and everyone has access to that. And I find even like, like much like fitness, there are people trying to make it look complicated, and it's not, right? So now it's like spirituality. I know I see, like, from fitness eyes, I see a lot of trainers like, oh, this and that. It's a friggin' squat, man. Like, just do squats 20 times, and you know, and then do this exercise. Then you add on, and you learn. It's the same thing with spirituality. Just start with just sitting, and then see where it takes you, right? And it's just the less complex we make it, the better and the easier it is, because it is something that's supposed to be less complex. It's not about, you know, going in. I feel like people, the way now they're sometimes describe it, they're like, why is your experience so similar to everyone else, right? Everyone should have a different experience when they sit still, right? Like they just should take them different places. And like a lot of people are just, I find online, unfortunately, they're making it complex, and they're making it feel, other people feel like it's just something like they live in a different planet. But no, you live here. You live here. That's what spirituality is. Spirituality isn't going or becoming unaware. That's a different kind of spirituality. That's different kind of spirituality. Like, you need other substances to do that. But we're talking about spirituality. You're supposed to connect with everything around you, as you said, right? It's just, that is what spirituality is, and that's where it all starts, right?
Yeah. I like that. Simplicity is always key.
100%.
I remind myself that all the time. My mind goes like a million miles per hour. I was like, wait, what's the most simple, easy way to do this right now?
Yeah, I do the same thing, because your mind will always go. Like even the same thing is like a lot of meditation teaches, like, you know, to stop the mind. I don't think your mind stops, right? Because the right yogis will teach you that it doesn't stop. You disconnect from it, right? It'll still keep going, because just like your heart, there's like gazillion things happening in us that we're not even aware of, right? They're just happening, right? Yeah. The blood is like, our body is fighting, you know, the illnesses and all that. It's always in action, but we're not aware of it. It's the same thing with the mind. You have to be able to just, it's going to keep the mind, the thoughts, everything will come. You just have to like kind of walk away from it. Because I kept thinking that. I'm like, I'm sure you found that in the beginning of meditation. I'm like, I can't turn my mind off. How do I turn it off? Right? But that's not what it is. You're not supposed to turn it off. You're just supposed to disconnect from it. Right? So,
I enjoy that. Yeah, I like that perspective a lot.
Yeah.
And I love learning. It's like a hobby of mine, to be honest. So I always am curious to know, like, anybody who's on here, is what's like a current favorite learning rabbit hole of yours?
Learning, I've always been a terrible learner. I feel like school was not my thing. I'm a dropout.
Okay. Not learning in like, okay, like, because we're always like a student of life, right? So it's more
learning. So question, like, do you mean learning on your own, or learning from others? Like learning, like say you're doing like a course. Is that what you mean?
You can do a course, or if maybe it's just a book. Yeah, it could be a mentor, like someone that you look up to and you enjoy taking in their wisdom in a different way.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I guess awareness. Just meditate. We're really like, I feel like we should be paid on how much we sold meditation today.
You're gonna become like
stillness. Like, what is your answer to everything? Stillness. yeah, I guess that's why honestly, I've always had trouble like just learning, and unless it's something related to, I guess, something I'm really passionate about, which are just weights and cars. So other than that, like other things, really, like I do find it tough too. So I feel like I can't really give the advice. When you find the answer, let me know, because I probably need help. Because I find the same thing with a book. Like I can wander off. Like sometimes I'm like, damn it, I gotta start again. So I go back and I start reading again, because sometimes I will like wander off. And it's always like things that not like necessarily negative things, but it will always be something that like I'm passionate about. So my mind will kind of go to that, not necessarily working out, but I'll go to like cars and like, it's just, yeah, like even meditation. I was like telling a friend, like that's all in the beginning. That's all I would just start thinking about, like cars, and just like, and I'm like, all right, come back. Okay. Then that. So it wasn't really like, I guess all the time, it wasn't negative thoughts. It was just some good thoughts. So I guess it has to be something that you really, feel passionate about, and then it's just easier, I guess, to learn it.
Yeah.
Don't take that as the answer, because I don't.
No, I feel like your version of learning is being in the experience of life, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Because if I have no interest, I just won't. Yeah, I won't even try.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll try it. Yeah, because that's how literally school was for me. It was just, man, like, yeah, I was gone.
Yeah,
I was in a different space, right?
I mean, I went to school and I finished, but I would say life was a much greater teacher. So
yeah, for sure, 100%.
I learn well, but school is just, I mean, the way they structure school is, I'm like, I don't know how anybody really truly learns from that, but
yeah, it's like one formula for everyone. It doesn't work, right?
No, exactly.
It just doesn't work. We're all different. Everyone is different. We're all unique in our own ways. We have different learning abilities, and that's why I see it. It's so nice to see like some of my clients' kids like that have that different learning method. Like they're now in schools focusing on that, right? They're like, okay, this kid can't sit still, and I'm like, yeah, I can totally relate to that kid, because like he can't sit still. He doesn't want to learn. He just wants to be out. Like he wants to do stuff. So how do we work with him, rather than, all right, let's just put him in some program where he's just labeled, right?
Yeah.
I think we need to stop labeling people, labeling ourselves, because we need to be more like unique and just understand ourselves, like what is the best way I learn, and just go about that, right?
100%.
Know thyself.
Yes.
I don't know who said that, but yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
My brother is the same way, where he's just like, he dropped out of college. My parents were like, what? And then they're just like, well, can you talk to him? I was like, honestly, if school doesn't serve him, like I trust that he'll learn in a different way. And he absolutely did. And I think like if we could find a way to bring that to our education systems where there are kids who struggle, then they would thrive. But exactly like you said, we can't do everything exactly the same way. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. But it's nice to see that they are understanding that, right? That they're becoming aware of that, right? Like how everyone is different. So it is headed in a better place. I know the news says it otherwise, but news is just bringing exposure to all that what's happening in the world, that all that is happening in the world. But it is becoming a better place. They'll show 10, not even bad people, but the 10 miserable people that did something wrong. And they think that's 7 billion people. It's not, right? It's a really good place. It's a really, really good place. And the news just kind of has a different perspective, or they're just trying to get eyes on, right?
Sure.
But I definitely think it's headed towards the right way, right?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah. What about a favorite mantra that you go by?
You mean like a quote, or is it like what I listen to, or because I listen to mantras?
Any of
but
it. Something that I guess you could even consider it an affirmation if you really wanted to. But
I am not the body. I am not the mind.
Okay.
That's the disconnect part. I learned that from Sadhguru. I don't know if you know who that is.
Who?
He's Sadhguru.
No, I have not.
He's a mystic from India, so that's his meditation, and that's like I do that meditation twice a day, and that is what has some sort of in a way helped me, because it's just I am not the body, I am not the mind, and it's the same idea. It's like you're not trying to stop your mind from working, just like you're not trying to stop your heart from working or any other functions. You want it to function all the time. So the same thing with the mind, but you want to be able to disconnect from it, right? And I think that's what I listen to a lot. So I guess that would be the mantra. Like I am not the body with inhalation, I am not the mind, and you just do that. I think for 7 minutes, and then there's a chant, and there's like a whole process. But yeah, and then Om, and then there's a whole. So yeah, I do that meditation twice a day, and that was the first one I really got into, and that one's like 15 minutes. But I'll send it to you. But it's good. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's a very different perspective. Also, I've not heard that one, so I really enjoy that one.
Yeah, because when I was first trying to get into meditation, everyone's like, like they sell it in a way like you stop the mind.
Yeah. And
I can't do that. I've tried. Like I don't understand. That means like the only time I guess you can stop the mind is when you're sleeping. But is that spirituality, right? I don't think that's
having some crazy dreams. My mind is not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Even then, we can't stop our mind, right? So when he kind of opened that perspective, I'm like, okay, so yeah, I can do meditation, because that is one of the things. A lot of people stop meditation because they're like, not just the negative thoughts. It's just like I sit still and meditation doesn't work because I can't stop my mind from thinking. But again, that's not what it is. It'll keep going there. You just keep pulling back. I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. Okay, it'll go there again. Bring it back again, right? It's just that constant. We keep trying to like. It's the mind is amazing. Like this is, it offers us the intelligence, and it is something that we should use for ourselves. But when we need to. But like when it's like doing its own thing, we just need to disconnect, because I think one thing we need to remember is that the mind and the body are here to serve us, not for us to serve them. If we keep giving our mind that much attention, because we're making, and I think that's what's driving a lot of the illness too, because a lot of people are giving too much attention. They're trying to dissect it. You don't dissect it, it'll destroy you. Like that, the mind is capable of that, right? We try to dissect it. We try to stop it. We try to do so many things. We're trying to we'll go into our past. We'll try to figure things out. And I think that is what's even more dangerous, because now you're just giving it charge in another way. And the same thing goes with the body, right? You give it, okay, it's tired today. All right, fine. Now we'll be tired tomorrow, same time, right? I'll need a nap at this time. The body now owns you. Your mind now owns you, because it just controls we need to understand that, that's the best way I would put it. And I say this to clients a lot now, just remember, your body and your mind are here to serve you, not for you to serve them. If you can just kind of remind ourselves that, not that we abuse them, not that we start abusing the body, you just work hard and I'm not going to feed you anything, right? But when you think like that, then you make really good decisions, even in terms of nutrition. When you understand that, okay, this is something that is supposed to serve me, you're not going to give it what it craves. You're going to give it what it needs, right? Whether it's nutrition, and same thing with the mind. You're going to take away the, the use of it, to remember, to learn and all that. But when you don't need it, you put it aside. And I think that's what we really need, because some people are not disconnecting with their mind. It rules their life. And that's what I think, for me, it was a lot of anxiety, a lot of in depression in my time. That was just because my mind was just it was ruling my life in a negative way. And I think what has really helped is for me to understand that, I'm the boss.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
In a nice way. Nice way.
I'm the boss and I love you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the boss, and you'll serve me, and get me through life. Make this the most full-fledged life as possible. Right. And I think that's
I like that. Thank you so much for sharing so much of your wisdom and time with us today. Is there anything that still feels alive on your heart that you'd like to share? Or do you feel complete?
Something that feels alive in my heart that completes. Sorry, say it again.
To say it that you would like to say out loud, or do you feel complete on what you want to say today?
Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it was all like kind of what we touched on. It's just raise awareness. I think we just need to like being more aware of how short our time is here, and and make it less about ourselves. I think that's one of the things that I struggled with. Everything was about me, and it was never, even when those things were solved, it was not a solution. If we can connect, if we can fix ourselves, and make it a shorter process rather than an event, right? We just need to be able to, and then just reach out to other lives. It just gets better because you realize, like our idea of success, growing up, and we see it on TV, we see it in movies, is our idea of success is that we're doing, we're doing better than the person next to us or the people around us. And I don't think that's success. I think that's illness, right? Because we're just constantly in comparison. We're always like worried about, what this person, like, what these people are doing, what this person is doing, or like our idea of success has become that. But I don't think that's success. I think if you can get to the top and you can, help others get there, I think that is truly that is true success. Because again, I had that perspective too. Like, oh, if I can have all the things, if I can have all, like, going back to cars, like, for like, if I can have this car, if I can have this home, I thought they were the things, but they're not. It's just touching another life, I think, and taking people along with you on this beautiful journey, appreciating the journey, I think is it's success. And I think we should not try to reach this, because the end is we're gone. Like, yeah, like, let's like not try to reach it. Let's but enjoy the journey. Yeah, exactly. Because it's always like, I think that's one of the things that I've taught myself is that remind myself a lot is that, stop like looking for the next thing or trying to fix the next thing, but like let's appreciate this journey, because man, if you really look at it, it's not that long, right? Yeah. And if we just need to make the most of it, and collect as many experiences, touch as many lives as we can, as you said. And I think that is success. So stop looking at Instagram for success is what I would tell people, because that's what that's what it sold us, is just this much money, and like it's just, that's all we see, and it's what a lot of like the younger generation is seeing. So their idea of success is just that, and I don't think that's success.
For sure. Yeah.
That's what I would leave off with.
I like that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here today. Where can people find you and connect with you if they'd like to chat?
You can find me on Instagram on Shaz Khan _ or Shaz at bewellfit.ca. If they have any fitness, nutrition questions or diet plans or whatever they need, I'm happy to help, no charge. And if you're looking for clothing, go on bewellwear.com. And, in case you missed it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, of course, all of this information will be down in the show notes. Definitely say what's up. Thank you so much for being here.
So this will be on YouTube, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.